it's this. Like, being able to do what I want, that's freedom. Like, when you control your mind and your will, that's freedom for me, right? Being able to speak truth.
But we got that now.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I'm living in heaven. Like, I wasn't always living here, though. You feel me? I had to build this up. There was time where I was mentally living in hell, right? So I worked myself to create my heaven, right? So when I can have my fathers and my brothers and my family and friends and peers in Oakland show up in the building and Dame Dash here and we arguing about money in heaven, that's heaven. You know? Like,
And
I could be at a 9 to 5 right now. I'd be in hell.
No, you couldn't, because you
No,
wouldn't let
you're
that
right,
happen.
for sure.
But
Not in
honestly,
heaven.
sometimes you have to experience hell so you can appreciate heaven.
Absolutely.
You have to hit some pain sometimes, so you expect that. So you, so you can appreciate the luxury of not feeling the pain that you were once in.
I agree
You know,
with that.
the one thing about having children, especially second generation, is they haven't gone through nothing, and they overreact to nothing.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's like, yo, I don't want you to have to feel this pain to really appreciate your present. So let me go through the rough stuff, and let me just tell you how to appreciate the stuff that I went through so that you don't have to.
Right. You know, coming on that, you know, adversity builds character. You know, unfortunately, it's a flip side to that because a lot of people, like you said, without that duality, they don't know how to appreciate existence and the things they have, right? There's the wisdom of learning from somebody else's experiences. So I have an older brother, so I learned a lot from his experiences, right? I've seen all my partners with baby mamas, so right now I don't have a baby mama, right? Because I learned from the wisdom of the trauma that they was going through, right? And shout out to all the baby mothers. I don't mean it like that, but y'all know what I mean.
Oh no. Oh no.
You got a wife?
I don't mean it like that.
You got a wife?
No, I'm working on it. I mean,
You
like,
don't want a
I
baby
ain't gotta shoot your
mother,
shot.
you want a wife.
No, exactly. That's
want a
why I
wife.
ain't got one. You know, but I mean it in the sense that this generation, I think, is, you know, for lack of better words, soft, right? And what I mean by that is the things that were adversity for me that make me who I am, right? I mean, actual real things, like going through cases, going through struggles, really going through darkness. This generation, you know, they deal with cyberbullying, right? And to them, you know, that's their darkness, right? But for me, that could never even bother me, right? Because I built up my ability to go through the darkness. I can handle way more than the average person, which is why I don't mind putting so much on my shoulders. The things that I handle will kill normal men, right? Just the stress or the anxiety of taking that position. So when I talk to everybody about being leaders, I know that being a leader for some people, like just the thought of it, you barely teetering on the balance of good mental health. So just that idea of like, damn, I gotta really lead and do something for the world. Nah, that's already eating you up just thinking about it. So you got to get to a place of mental heaven before you can do something to help anybody else build out their heaven, right? And it may look selfish, but it's not. I think it was Ayana Vazant. She said it's about being self-full, right? So when you look at it as selfish, you look at it as a negative when you focus on self-development, right? So I know that even when I left Oakland, I had to go on that journey of self-development, right? And then when I come back, I can come back stronger. I can bring people together, right? Because I'm going to go on that journey of developing myself versus being in front of everybody trying to get validated for the things that I'm doing. Instead, when I showed the world, now there's people that didn't know I was from Oakland. But when they found out, they was proud like I was their cousin, right? Which is good. So now we at this place where we get to really have that ability when it comes to each one teach one. Like if you don't put yourself in position, you can't do nothing for nobody else, right? Like I'm happy that, you know, for me, you know, a lot of the things that I did with other people in collaboration is because me and my brothers weren't ready to work together. So I was like, well, I'm gonna show you what this would look like if we did work together. Right? So hopefully now that you see it, now let's build something, right? And so I know for a fact one of the biggest issues that people have is when it comes to family, right? Everybody struggles with that idea of family supporting their dream or their business or a goal, but I realized like they don't have to until I build a dream that supports my family, right? So when I did that, then the family can work with me and for me, right? So now I don't have to worry about if they support my dream because my dreams support them. So of course they're going to protect it. Of course they're going to support it because now it's reciprocal, right? And so that little bit of wisdom changed my life because I was no longer worried about that no more. I was free consciously to just go out there and build now, right? And so for me, that helped me cultivate heaven, right? I don't pick up things I'm not ready for, right? I'm not worried. Nobody can call me with an issue and problem to just dump shit on my life, and that ain't got nothing to do with my goals and my values right now. You got to handle that. That ain't for me to pick up. That's for you to handle because I'm not trying to be nobody's crutch. So at this point, if we talk about heaven, I want to talk about the skill sets of the future. How many people in here own a business? How many people want to, make more income in their business, right? When I started high-level conversations, I knew that I couldn't do it like any other show on there. Like, I don't have a podcast, I got a show, right? And I said, let me study the way hit shows are made. Let me look at the elements that I would need to program into every conversation in order for it to be a hit, right? And so the intentionality of the way I design things is my genius. A person may look at it as a thought leader, it is, but no, I'm a producer, I'm a director. And so a lot of times when we take on new projects, we don't really take on the hats that's needed in order for them to be successful, right? We don't really study the art and the science of it. And this is why we really lag and we behind on things, right? But now we had 25 million views, and that's at the behest of people saying that wouldn't work. Nobody want to hear that conscious shit, right? But my whole life is proving that people do want consciousness. It's just not sold to us. And so we at this place in the world where, I've been studying a lot of Edward Bernays, who's a psychologist, to where he manipulates people's desires. And his whole thing is he created public relations. He's the reason why people eat bacon in their breakfast, or women started smoking cigarettes, because they studied human behavior and figured out ways to control people. And now we are a society that's not based on needs, we based on desires, right? But I want to ask you, when it comes to detaching from the program, because most of the things that most people don't even realize that they be in control. They think that really comes from them. How does a person begin to detach from the matrix or the programming that's in the world on a daily basis?
Listen, there's a good chance somebody's trying to hack your website right now. You gotta make sure you're covered. I'm talking about enterprise.
Well, for me, anything that's been presented to me has been presented to me to control me. So my rule of thumb is go against the grain, and to never try to fit in, to do things different. I never want to be like Atmosphere in the video game. I would rather be the player. And I'm always looking for the next thing that no one else has done. Because usually what I'm looking for when it comes to that is independence and freedom and being and doing things that are economically quicker and give me more bang for the buck. So for me, when I did that Breakfast Club thing and I was telling everybody to quit their jobs, what people weren't understanding is I had just quit my job. My job was Rockefeller Records. And the reason why was because it wasn't Game and Dash. I was helping other people get to their dreams, but I didn't have an asset that I could pass to my children. And I was spending more time with people that I didn't birth to make them money so I could make money off them than spending time with my children. So at that point, I quit. And it became, I have to invest in me. And a product that means unapologetically my point of view. Unapologetically the time that I spend for the art of whatever I'm creating. And to be consistent at it for an amount of time to where people will buy it and feel that they're buying a piece of that. And just recently, like as I'm telling everybody, yo, you have to bet it all. I'm betting it all. You Google me right now, it would be like Dame Dash is worth negative $2 million or whatever, all that. Yeah, because every single second for the last 10 years, I've been investing in me, my point of view. Like CEO as a brand, or as a director, or as someone that's really fighting for others that he loves, you know, more than just himself. As I'm telling people what to do, I'm doing it. As I'm saying bet it all, I'm betting it all. I'm betting it all right now. And as I'm asking people to not to complain, because we all know the problems, we've been knowing the problems, they're the same problems. A cycle of problems means somebody's doing a good job in making sure we don't solve them, because they keep happening. Once you know something, if it happens again, there's an issue with us, not them. So to be able to create my own curriculum, or rather a book that I could go into the school system and actually teach these kids a different way to do things, to be able to sell a sneaker for $250, CEO have a brand that I could actually now sell without having to leverage someone else's celebrity, to be able to have movies coming out and have shot them independently and distribute them in theaters like they do it, but doing it my way and work with who I want to work with, to be able to present visuals to our culture that aren't us getting abused or us fighting each other, because that's all they show us of. That's been my dream, and that's what I've been fighting for real time. You know, so in this very moment, the inspiration has come from knowing every war that needs to be fought, fighting for the people I love, understanding that I hate business. I hate it. I hate money. But we need to actually have money to live a certain kind of life. But I ain't doing nothing for money. To be able to embrace my creative side and to do it in real time in front of the whole world, and for them to be able to learn from my experience and to know that when you bet it all, it looks good. And that you win if you're persistent about your dream and you can visualize it. And that you can link up with other people from your culture and have people gather and talk and architect the future for themselves, and that you can learn from any mistake or any learning experience that's being made. It feels good to be independent. It's priceless. You know, it feels good to help the people you love and not have to ask. It feels good to be able to link up and be a rock star without saying anything that's going to hurt our culture, because I know how to make money off hurting our culture. I've done it. And karmically, it's kicked me in the ass. You know, to even watch a 19 Keys, like, yo, I've been on stage and seen him in the audience. And now I'm on stage with him. You know, I'm looking for more partners. I'm not looking for soldiers, I'm looking for generals. And I'm willing to bet it all, because that's what I've done, and I've done it in real time, in front of everybody. It's not embarrassing to bet on what you love, to stand unapologetically behind what makes you feel good. And also, you know, good taste is cheap, where other people can't pay for it. And it transcends every dimension and vertical of who you are. So, what was the question?
Matt here just got final payment on his biggest contract yet. And it was actually pretty easy.
Somewhere in there you answered it.
I'd like to know what it was, though.
I don't remember.
You remember?
No.
Yeah,
No, breaking the program.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I create the program. Forget the program. You know, and what I just did was an example of how I break the program by not paying attention to it and creating a new one.
All right, but y'all got to pay attention. No, but it's real though. I say that because, you know, as I study things and I just think about the masses, right? The masses are usually, you know, controlled by the master. And most people don't control their lives. And some people are happy and they fine with that, but then there's a percentage of people who actually do want to have power over their lives, who do want more than what their current reality is, right? I'm always thinking about, you know, my highest level of self, right? What does that look like? What is he doing? And sometimes it's hard to even put yourself in the shoes of your future self because we are now in a time of uncertainty. At least for the masses. For the masters, everything is certain because you know who you are, you know your core values, you know how you gonna move, regardless of what pops up in the world, right? And so I really want to ask some questions to, or allow some of the guests that are here, some of the special guests to ask some questions because, you know, as we talk about linking up, one of the greatest skills that they said is important today is the art of collaboration. Right? People don't know how to work with each other today, right? And that's really what been one of my greatest skills, my ability to pull together people, right, and work with them and to get things done that normally would not have been done, right? And that allowed me to be able to travel around the world and to build and do things that one person may say, well, 19 Keys is Black Muslim consciousness. I don't know, that's too radical. But when I collaborate with my brother, you know what I'm saying, he can get into doors that I can't get in. And any doors that I can't get in, I open that for him. And so now we can increase each other's wealth just through the art of collaboration, right? And so this is why I always want people of different backgrounds and people who are my peers. I'm like, yo, come to the show or let's do this together. Like, I'm always that person that's coming up with an idea of something that we can build together. And I don't do it in the times where we need each other. I do it in times where we up, right? And that's completely different because when somebody hitting you and they down, no, that's desperation. You understand me? But when they hitting you, you know they up and you know they doing good and like you still want to work together, that's authenticity, right? And so you have to learn the art of collaborating and building relationships because I think some people day one, they be like, yo, bro, so I got this show or this. Like, come on, I don't even know you, bro. Like, you got to relax. You know what I'm saying? You got at least 3 points of contact before you can start to create an air of familiarity with somebody. Right? And then you have to learn to serve the people that you're trying to work with or for, right? And most people don't know how to insert themselves and be of value in the situation. So when you learn how to assess what a person has going on and you saying that this is how I can make you some money or this is how I can grow your enterprise or this is what you may be missing, let me just do the work. Most of the people that I'm working with right now are people that I have long-term relationship with or people that did the work before I asked them to and it was good work and I'm like, yo, I need you on the team. Like now you realize like you just showed me something that I need. I'm not gonna go without it, right? There's this African brother in Nigeria, man. He be stealing all my videos, and I just seen him on YouTube, and they getting like 100,000 views. You know, at first I was gonna pull him. You know what I'm saying? Like he got me messed up, but I realized like no, let me reach out to him and hire him because you know he was doing better than my team. Shout out to the team, but. He had a different level of creativity. His thumbnails was raw. He had a picture of me, my shirt off. You know what I'm saying? They had like 200,000. I say, bro, work it. So, you know, I hit him up and I'm like, we need you on the team. And now he about to run the YouTube channel. But he created his job, right? 70 to 90% of the jobs in the future ain't been created yet, right? What they say about AI, it's not going to take your job. It's somebody that's going to use AI that will. When you see these jobs being laid off at all these companies because they don't need them no more. If they can decrease human error and increase effectiveness in their bottom line at their business, then you will replace your staff with AI as well, right? And so for me though, I feel like, or I know rather, if we really want to win as a culture, and Dame talks about this a lot, and that's really aligned with my values, and I say core values a lot because I really want you all to think about your top 5 before you leave out of here. So that anything you do, you have to do, and it has to be aligned with that, right? So when you set up your goals and you set up your life and you look at your path, you look at your relationships, you look at your friends, your environment, if it's not aligned with your top 5, don't do it, right? That means you have to restructure your life because otherwise you'll never get to where you really want to be, right? Because there's some people that die from stress trying to go against themselves, right? Because what you're doing is not aligned with who you are. So I don't believe in finding purpose. I believe in realizing self. The more knowledge of self you have, the easier it is to customize a life that's worth living, right? So I study myself on a daily basis. That's how I can speak. That's how I can communicate. That's how I can build with others so that I can be of a constant value, right? Today,
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local recordings are now
everybody has to build a brand. Everybody should build a business. They say 50% of the workforce is now working for themselves. The other 50% gonna have to figure out that it's gonna be their time to work for themselves as well. So as Dame tell people to fire your job, right, and become your boss, that's not a privilege anymore. That's a necessity. Your job that you have right now will be taken over. It's just a matter of time, right? And this is called the great de-skilling of the world. Things are changing. They already here. So what will you do when you no longer need it? It's going to create this feeling of like, damn, I don't feel a purpose. I don't feel a reason to be alive. But I think it's a good thing because it's going to push people out of positions of doing things that robots can do. Let that robot do it. Do something that only a human being can do. Think creatively. Think critically. That to me is the power.
The thing about having AI now is that you could have a staff to make your dreams come true for cheap. So instead of working for somebody, you could have AI working for you for nothing.
Right.
So it's about reversing that narrative. Again, when something new presents itself, you have to look at the W in it, not the loss. Not what's taken from you, but the opportunities that present themselves. And usually, the evolution of technology is better for us if we realize how much real physical labor do we want to do. And again, you have to be able to visualize that dream to put it in a product so that you could use AI to help you to sell it. But if you don't have a product to sell, if you don't have nothing to make, then you're not a made man. It's not gangster to be telling people how to be gangster if you don't have nothing to sell yourself. So you have to figure out what you can be unapologetic about as it relates to your point of view and have that all into a product and then ask AI how to sell it. You could even tell AI, yo, I'm gangster at this, that, and the third. What product could I make behind that and how do I market it? So AI is making it where instead of having a job, you could be a boss. But in general, the only thoughts that you should be thinking in is boss. It's boss or nothing. It's I win or nothing. It's my kids' kids win or nothing. And what is the path to get to that? A bill could be paid late as long as in the future your children and your children's children's bills are not. And that's all that matters. Because if you've survived what's ever going on now, then you're good. It's your job to be strategic, to architect what you want the people you love to feel. Thinking about the people you love, it's like you have to be selfish to think about how to help others, because you can't help nobody unless you can help yourself. If you have to pay a bill late to help somebody, then to me that's an oxymoron. That shouldn't happen. It should be as easy as you got a bill, let me buy you a house, and it doesn't hurt. But you got to be selfish in your dreams to get to that point. Sorry about cutting you off.
That was an extension. It's cool. I was going to say that.
You gonna say exactly that?
Yeah, I was going to say it was word for word. No, because before we got here, I said, AI, if Dane Dash cut me off when I say this, what would he say? And it said that
AI
exact
told
thing.
you that?
Yeah, it told me how to prompt a response from you. So I just been studying.
Actually, AI told you I was gonna do that.
Yeah.
You're doing something with Dame Dash, he's gonna cut you off.
Yeah, he told me
after
that
you
for
talk
sure.
for 5 straight minutes.
Yep. So it said just sit there inquisitively while he do it, and it's gonna be smooth. So Brother right here is phenomenal because he took a skill set that he had, put himself and his family on. A skill set that he teaches many other people. Everybody can't teach trading like my brother teaches. This is why you see him with the celebrities and why you see him with successful students. Not only that, if you're having a hard time, the brother actually shows you all the trades that he's making at 5,000 plus per day on. It's not one of them, oh, I'm tell you I can do it. It's one of those, I'm gonna show you I can do it and you can do it right along with me. So if there's somebody that wants to fire their job, pick up a new skill, this is my brother to tap in, the Honey Drip Network. Make sure y'all tap in. Y'all can get into the Discord for a low monthly, and you can change your family trajectory just like that.
Investing in about 2016, self-taught myself how to invest, became a millionaire before I left. Made my first 6 figures when I was 21, made my first $500,000 when I was 22, and made my first $1 million when I was 23, and then now I'm 8 figures plus in business and investments. So I'm 27 years old, so I've been a millionaire for about 4 years, and I have a lot of game to give y'all, and that's what I like to do.
We here for progress. We here for freedom. We here to heal. Black man, I see you. Black woman, I see you.
I feel there's some guys in the building tonight. We all at different cycles. When you recognize the thing that you're going through is just a cycle, and you understand that cycle is a wheel, it's circular by nature. Time is a cycle. See, we have to learn the mathematics of the universe because we weren't taught how to identify the cycles and the patterns and the rhythms and the frequency. So where we can master our world and we have the ability to control our thoughts and everything that happens. So what I want to see us to do is focus on our creative imagination. Focus on imagining a better world, designing a better world, and then execute. Because that's how I know we're well-working oil people. That if we have ideas and they're brought, that means that we're giving birth to something.
It's the internal processes of your own mind that command your actions. And when you have the ability to take control through awareness, now you have the ability to fully fully functional, control yourself.
In real life though, man, I've been using it a lot because it teaches me how to study myself as well and my own process of thinking because you start to learn your own limitations, right? If you got, just think about this, if you really got the smartest person in the world working for you, what can you tell them to do? You can only tell them to do based on what you can do, right? And what you know. And then that's your limit. Then you got to start asking them, yo, tell me what to tell you. And at some point, you're working for them, right? And so the generation that's going to come up utilizing AI, they're going to end up, AI is going to end up utilizing them to do things in the real world. If they don't have control over their own thinking, critical skills, right? Being able to think multidimensional. There's new skill sets like prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is something that everybody should get familiar with. And that's essentially, it's basically the same thing as human management. If anybody got employees in here, right? If you have employees, if you tell them to go do something, depending on the amount of, details that you put in that order, right? They can go do it. You tell them, listen, I need you to create copy for this email so we can go do some marketing. Depending on their skill set and how intelligent they are, they're going to need more subject matter. Wait a minute, I need more context. So working with AI, you say, listen, AI, I want to create emails. AI like, okay, what kind of emails you want to create? You say, okay, I want to create emails for my business. Then you're like, no, wait a minute. I want you to create emails, but you will look up somebody who's the best person that does email copy in the world, right? I want you to create emails like them. Or I want you to act like you are a psychologist. Now I want you to create emails utilizing social behavior knowledge, right? So now it's creating emails that's really pulling on human emotions and desires. So if you just tell it to create an email, it's going to do general what everybody else going to do. But the more knowledge you have, the more you can customize it to get greater detail out of it, right? But that's based on how smart you are, not how smart AI is. So that's why I say natural intelligence plus artificial intelligence equals enhanced intelligence, right? But if you don't operate it from that formula, you can't get the best out of life the same way you can't get the best out of people, right? So it helps me become a better people manager because now I realize the limitations of the way I speak to people. I have the idea in my head, but I'm not really communicating it in a manner to where they can fully understand the context. So as I've been working with this, it's actually been training me to increase my natural intelligence on a daily basis and not assume that a person understands the parameter of the context and they understand exactly what I'm trying to tell them and or say, right? And you can utilize it in so many ways. If you take your business and you tell it like, this is my financials, you can feed it your financials if you want to, if you want to get that deep. And you say, AI, look at this. Where can I, decrease my budget and increase my profit at? How can I, make more money understanding my profit margins, right? How can I create a marketing plan, right? But the more you know about every subject that you tell AI to do, the more you can customize it to get better results. Now, here's the thing that people go find out. A lot of people go find out they're lazy. Because it's going to tell you exactly what to do, but you ain't going to do it. It's going to give you a foolproof plan, and the next thing you're going to want to do is a robot to do everything the AI told you to do. So human beings are getting lazier and lazier and lazier, and that's the issue that I have because I see a generation, well, especially our generation now, if it tells you 10 steps, right, and you don't do that, now you're sitting in front of your excuses like, damn, I actually don't want to do nothing. I just want the results.
I think people that are proactive about AI, because if you're proactive about AI in this moment, you'd probably be proactive about the information that it's giving you. Because I find that people that are looking for answers, once they get them, but they got to be looking for the answers. Like, there's people that you could give answers to, and they actually resent you for giving it to them. They get mad at you because now they got to work. But if someone's looking for it, usually if they see the solutions, they would capitalize. A lazy person is not going to look for answers through AI unless somebody does it for them. But like, I think it's important that, again, like the fact that you're speaking about how to use AI in this moment of AI is important because people don't even understand that AI even exists. And understanding that it's almost like an art to talk to AI, to get it to give you the information that you desire. But it's the beginning of it. So again, it's about visualizing what AI looks like in 10 years. So it's about practicing. It's not even about, if it doesn't help you now, it'll help you later. Just getting into the rhythm of it. For me, AI is the study of human behavior, right? I was like trying to figure out why Elon Musk bought Twitter, and it just became logical that it was because he was buying data of behavior patterns for all the AI stuff that he's doing. But for me, I like to do things that haven't been done. So it tricks AI. AI has nothing to study when I do something because it hasn't been done yet. So if there was AI, like, what does it look like when black people stick together?
Notion has been the centerpiece of my workflow. It's quite literally an extension of my brain. I can take notes, create folders,
Without breaking.
It'd be stumped.
That's why we couldn't get on the other day.
That algorithm doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
But that's the algorithm and the AI that I want to start to do, a behavioral study of what it looks like when we actually stick together. What does it look like when they stick together? It'll be like, damn, it'll look like when the Moors were in town. It'll look like all the history that has been trying to be erased from us, so we don't have that visual of what it looked like when we were winning.
Right.
I don't think people understand that there was a time that we were in control in a big way. and almost kind of abusive about it. And people studied on how to not let that happen again for 1,000 years. Erase that visual from their brain. And that's why we don't see visuals of us winning. It's a strategic thing. We just see visuals of us getting beat and us hurting each other. And continuing to move forward in that way. So, in this moment, we're a part of the solution that's happening. This is what it looks like when we stick together. This is what it looks like when we share resources. This is what it looks like when we're not mad at each other for no reason. When we're hitting each other instead of hitting the people that are oppressing us. It looks good. It's a very chill kind of environment. So this is the new algorithm that we have to continue to create. The stick together algorithm, the winning algorithm, the visuals of what happens when we stick together algorithm, of what it looks like when we don't need them and they need us and they know it and they're not trying to trick us because they know we're going to laugh at them because they're playing checkers and we've been playing chess algorithm. So my challenge to you is to visualize what that looks like, other than in the Black Panther.
Right.
What does it look like in real time when we're the landlords? Just because we're the landlords doesn't mean that we're the only people that are going to show up. It means that we control the whole world. We have the taste that we know we have and the rhythm that we know we have. Why not own the bricks that they get exploited in? Why not be in control of the land where all our culture is being exploited in by us? Because what I know about people from another culture is they don't care how dangerous it is for us, they going if there's a deal. I was in Mount Morris Park in Harlem the other day, and around the park, dudes were selling drugs and everybody was doing what they doing. And in the park, man, white people playing volleyball, and they weren't scared. So we could be the landlords and they could come through. We could be the bosses, not of us, but of everybody. What does the world look like when we're in control? It's a beautiful world because we're not scared. We like to grow, not kill. It ain't going to just be good for us. It'll be good for everybody. Without that plan and without that visual, it will not happen. So we have to stop asking and waiting for people to give that visual to us. We have to do that ourselves. We have to stop waiting for other people to teach us. We have to teach ourselves. We got to make the curriculum. We can't be dependent on AI or the internet to go talk to people. You still got to get in there and go hand to hand and shake a hand and really put into the universe what we want as opposed to what we expect. There's this entitlement of people doing shit for us. It's not going to happen. We got to do it for ourselves. If we don't like education, we got to make education. If we don't like the music, we got to make the music. If we don't like the movies, we got to make the movies. But what we also got to do is stick together to distribute everything that we have, all the art that we want people to see. We just got to stick together and continue to be creative, visualize the W, and actually do it. And show everyone that it can be done. Because if they don't see it, because we're visual people, it will not happen. So that's what we're here doing. This is the solution.
I love HoneyBook. It handles everything from proposals, contracts, payments, everything I need on one platform.
Stop. Let's start from the
Another thing, we talked about AI, but EI, emotional intelligence, is very important. In 2019, I had a thesis on what was going to be the new America: mobilization, automation, digitization, technology. You see, the rise of the SADs, what I call it, stress, anxiety, depression, suicide, right? Because they have direct correlations with each other. And so without emotional intelligence, you won't be able to, be emotionally resilient during this time. And this, like I said earlier, is the time of the highest anxiety in the world, right? And so being able to understand how to process things as you go through them is key. And as entrepreneurs, as human beings, these are not enough conversations that we have, in our environments, in our houses, right? And on these platforms. We talk about mental health, but it becomes like this commercial thing to talk about black men mental health instead of to actually help black men, right? And so people do it because they get corporate sponsored dollars and things of that nature, and it's a hot button topic, but ain't nobody really going to the hood and helping you understand or change the environment that we live in, right? The environments that we live in are so toxic and dirty, and it doesn't look like life lives there, right? When we see each other, we shouldn't look at each other and see an enemy. I should see my brother. But instead, we've changed the programming on how we see each other because we see niggas. We don't see gods.
But that's what they want us to do.
That's what they want us to do.
That's
and
the program.
Our programming has to be, man, I see a God when I see my brother. Like when I see, like this front row right here, I got a lot of my brothers in here that I know. And it's like what I look at when I see what y'all do, I see your process. I see the struggle, I see the pain, I see the anxiety, I see the stress. I see somebody that doesn't give up and they push past the pain and make progress, right? Because what a lot of people do is they look at the black man results, right? But you ain't looking at the process and the black woman. Because what it takes to be successful and maintain your mental health during this time, right? You have to be an anomaly, right? And so I salute anybody that is able to successfully build a business, especially in the midst of dealing with your own trauma, right? Because it's not easy. And so you have to learn how to respect the process that a person goes through rather than just looking at the shiny aspect of the results that they get, right? And so the strong ones usually never get called upon and checked upon. And so this is why, those people don't end up living that long, right? Because as you're trying to break these barriers and break these chains and break this trauma in the family, you're putting all of that on you, right? And then when you gone, who carries the mark? And so we have to learn, like I said earlier, learn how to collaborate with those who doing something rather than say, oh, I like what he doing, I'm gonna do it too. Now you become his competition. Like, damn, you making it more stressful for me.
But that's the program.
That's the programming.
Is that we don't work together, that every time we see somebody doing something, we hate them for it instead of embracing them. But if we all fighting the same fight, I'm never going to get mad at you for trying to fight for love if I'm fighting for love.
Mm-hmm.
If we fighting for the same thing, we need to fight together.
Right.
And if we have different methods of fighting, yeah, I'm going to take the best of what you do, and I'm going to apply it to what I do. You know, whatever you do that I'm weak at, hopefully you're strong at, and vice versa. But we're programmed not to look at the people that are hurting us, but to look at each other so that they can walk around safe, which is why they're in our neighborhoods safe, not scared, where I won't go back someplace where I've heard it's too wild, even if it's a good deal.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with it. I'm just saying that our expectation and our dreams are not to run us, it's to run them. That's what I'm saying. It's not for us to survive, it's for us to be in control of survival. And that we have the power to do that. It's not to fit in, it's to actually carve out. And when we stick together, that's what it looks like. They're exploiting the fact that we don't know our self-power and what it looks like when we stick together and programmed us to hate each other when we love each other and we'll win. Because it's dangerous for them, not us. But it's an obvious program, and I'm not mad at them. It's been very, kudos. I'm never mad at my enemy for implementing something that's affecting us. I'm always mad at us for letting that bullshit go through.
Especially so long.
For over and over again.
And it's the same trick over and over.
But again, the good part about today is we need to also get used to the fact that we're not being abused, that we're in the moment of solution, that we are what no one else does. We're doing it. Y'all doing it, and give yourself a hand for doing it.
Hey, do we have that?
We're used to not doing it.
Ashley, that mic.
But we are doing it, and we have to celebrate when we are. We got to chip away at the mountain, and we'll get there. But we have started. And what we're doing right now is a perfect example of it. So I don't feel the anxiety of like I know the fucking answer, but nobody's doing it. It's no longer I gotta yell and scream and people say I'm crazy. I can speak cool and actually have action. It really looks good when we stick together. Look at us right now. So we just take that thing and make it infectious like COVID. Keep that energy everywhere we go. And every year just grow. Just get better. I'm not mad at what's been done. I'm mad at what we're not doing in the future. If we know we could, we can. And this is the purpose of forums like this, again, is not to look for soldiers, for generals. Not to look for workers, but for partners. And that's the whole purpose of this whole game. 19 keys.
He has a...
Start something that you're just going to love doing and that you're going to look forward to doing every single day.
Let's take a moment for a second. I want everybody to just pause. Dame Dash used to that word.
I invented it. Not pause, but we did invent the game.
So if we take a moment of stillness, right? Because part of this environment is not always what we say, it's about what we feel, right? When we in environments like this, and we're here for knowledge, education, consciousness, to uplift ourselves, this is not something that we get on a daily basis, right? We may get this yearly. We may get this a few times out of the year, but we are in an environment, a physical environment, where people are here together to try to reach a higher level of self, right? And it feels good to be here. And in this moment, we have to think about what we're here for, though, right? I believe we go to every place to pick up something and take with us. You can't let the moment pass without thinking about what you're supposed to take with you along your journey and on your way so that you can have growth. This moment ain't for me, it ain't for Dame, it's for you. But at the same time, it's not just you as an individual, it's you as a piece of the collective. What can you pick up when you leave? Because I was once, I remember going to one of the Dame events, and I'm just sitting on the side watching. I didn't even introduce myself. I'm going to see bro later. Because I was picking up the seed there. I was soaking up the environment, right? I was cultivating my ideas, my dreams, and grabbing my energy, because sometimes we walk into people and we hope they notice we special before we bring that out of ourselves. And so you have to learn how to validate yourself through your own work. And then when you show up, people recognize you, right? And so that's your real power. So I never stood in front of nobody, hey, you see how special I am? I'm the chosen one. Nah, you don't know who I am now, but you will later, because I'm going to actually do chosen one work. That's different than having chosen one dreams. And everybody in here want to be chose. I know you're from the Bay Area. Hey, a lot of my lingo be coming out like that. I don't even be meaning to, I've been around Mr. Fab too many times. But in real life, though, this is a moment of solidarity. This is a moment where we get to generate ideas that get to reverberate into the future, right? There's so many times I try to bring people together so that we can take over things. And we in this midst of operation where we do get to take over things. It's just I wanted things to happen faster than the actual process. And so now I learned to respect time, right? I learned to respect time. You have to respect time. Time is a greater snitch than 6ix9ine. It tell you everything, right? I'm serious. Time will always tell you reality. It's going to tell you the future. So if I respect time, then I know that as long as I make the moves, right, reality will move with me. So I can want things to happen today, but that's not the way time has it set up. You say, no, you got to make these moves, then they come. So we, that generation, that our ancestors may have felt like, yo, I want things to happen now. I want us to get liberty now. No, you just there to be a part of the collective to install something in the next generation so that they can build it, right? And they may be building it for the next generation. So we part of a continual phase of development. Everything that we went through as far as darkness, slavery, trauma, your own family, personal issues, it's all to prepare you. But for what?
Well, also, we get into that Anunnaki Billy Carson conversation.
Yeah, we can get into that.
But that's another thing.
That's definitely another thing.
That's another thing.
But that's the question. What is everything that you went through preparing you for? You know, I always use the analogy of, you know, when you in your mother's womb, right, you're getting prepared to live the life that you're living now. You're getting arms, legs, right? You're getting a heart, you're getting a spine. As a baby, you don't know what you're being prepared for. You don't have no knowledge, no consciousness. But once you get here, you realize, oh, I got the skin, I got this, the ability to be upright, the ability to learn, the ability to understand, to walk, to crawl, because I'm getting prepared to be in this world, right? But as we go through life, we have to understand why are we learning the lessons that we learn throughout life? What is the next phase that we getting prepared for, right? So we have to learn the spiritual laws of the universe to prepare us for our next phase of reality. Right? And so that comes with understanding the law of cause and effect. Most people try to figure out why their life is the way that it is, but you don't understand the causes of things that you've done to get the effect of reality that you're living in. Right? And so when I operate with that, I don't have any issues because I realize I created the life that I have, right? And I created the things that I don't have, right? And so it puts me in control. Now I'm in the driver's seat of everything that's happening, and I also have the power to control what happens next. Or I don't need to control it, right? And that's when you get to another phase of power, because we go from slaveship to ownership, right? When we don't have nothing, we feel like we need to own everything. But when you realize it's about rulership, right? Not owning nothing but controlling everything, that's when you get to true power. So I don't own my emotions, I control them. You know, that's what God said he gives man's domain over everything. Not man owns everything. No, you have the ability to control those things in your atmosphere. That's true power. I'm not even attached to it, but I control the outcome. So when we learn the true value of the art of living, the art of thinking, right? There's so many things that we are savaging behind. We don't know how to walk. We barely know how to breathe correctly. I mean that for real. We don't know how to breathe. As human beings, we don't know how much water intake we're supposed to have. We don't even know the customized things because we went to school to learn how to work for the world instead of to learn how our inner workings work, right? So when we go to school and we learn self, right, then everything that you do is aligned with who you are. But they told us to chase our desires, right, rather than our needs. So there's a lot of people that have things that they desire, but they don't have the things that they need. And that's why we continue to have the issues that we have, because once you operate in that place of need, you have different dreams and expectations. You don't have greed. You don't have jealousy anymore because you have everything that you need. But we're chasing the idea of freedom and success on what it looks like to another culture, not what it looks like for ours, right? What them getting money looks like for them is different what it looks like for us. But we feel like in order to fit in, we have to look like them so they can validate us. No, we're supposed to be the spooks who sit beside the door, but at some point in time, you got to let somebody in. At some point in time, you got to say, I got enough information, let me kick down the door. Right? Some people just stay by the door, bro. I'm just a spook, man. You know, I've been here for 30 years. I'm collecting. You know why I'm here. No, I don't know no more. You've been there for a while. You ain't gave nobody no game, ain't kicked the door open. Bro, you done been through every position, the president, every job, and you afraid to give somebody a discount at Target. How about you a spook? So, you know, when I met Mr. Fab, you talk about when I met him at Prada. You know, I'm going to let him tell the story how you tell it, but when I met him, listen, bro, 50% off instantly. First day I met him, I don't care about these people money. I ain't going to be working here forever. One day I'm going to be in the future. I need Mr. Fab to tell a story. He ain't going to tell it the right way, but he going to tell a story on stage. So, but that to me, that's the art of networking. You don't even know that the piece. Some of you are treating people the wrong way that you're gonna need tomorrow, right? And you don't even know that you're gonna need them. You don't even know you will be in a position where y'all can utilize each other, right? I couldn't spoke all of those things into existence. I had to work them into existence. And there's too many people trying to operate off the law of attraction instead of the law of work, right? You just want to sit there and positively bring things into reality. Positivity alone ain't never made nobody a millionaire, right? It's the work, it's understanding the different laws of the universe. But everybody loves the law of attraction, right? But for most people, it's a law of subtraction. Because if you're not doing things, you're robbing yourself, right? So if I want to build my future self, I have to think about how do I invest in them, right? Because otherwise, everything that I don't have today is because I robbed myself of it yesterday. I didn't do the work. So if I don't have the knowledge, I ain't read. That's why, right? If you single, it's because you ain't get, you know what I mean? You ain't spit the game you're supposed to do. Like, you ain't developed yourself into somebody who's actually attractive. Nobody wants you. Not like that. I know some people got triggered. But what I mean, like, focus on making yourself more valuable and you will be more attractive to the things that you consider valuable, right? That's a different level of power, right? And that goes with all relationships. I'm not talking about just sexual relationships. Because my uncle Nadar, shout out to him, he's from the Bay, and he told me a long time ago, he said, the way y'all treat women, y'all don't understand their value. He said, you just want to have sex with her, you could have built $1 million business with her. She had skill sets that you could utilize, right? But instead, you only see her for her flesh, you don't understand the mind. And so it took me a while, it wasn't when he just said it, took me, I had to go, through some iterations to understand exactly what he understood at that time, and it was long-term thinking.
So we're off the question grid.
Oh, ain't no question.
Oh.
This the AI script, man. It told me, just do this. But listen, what I did want to get into, I wanted to let this row right here, the VIP panel, man, ask a couple questions or make a statement, just to add effect to the room, because sometimes it's not about who on stage, it's about who's in the room. Each one teach one, we can all give each other value. I see faces that I've known, from a childhood, right, up until now. So this is a full circle moment. So I don't even want to just take the moment. I really want to share it, right? So I got my brother Mike Rashid right here in the building, and I wanted to see if he had a few words you wanted to ask or something that you wanted to share just to add to the collective.
Yes. Excuse me. Peace, y'all. Peace, everybody. First and foremost, I love you to death, bro.
Man, appreciate it, late too, bro.
First time we talked, we was introduced, and we talked for like 2.5 hours. You know what I'm saying? And we have those bills all the time, and it's authentic. And I fuck with you hard, bro. You feel me?
Likewise.
I want to say to Brother Dane, like, this is dope. You a dope dude. You're one of the people that, I modeled myself after in so many different ways through my ascension. I feel you. I just feel you. You feel me? Like the Breakfast Club, that was like my favorite anytime video. You know what I'm saying? I've sent that to so many people. You feel me? So I'm honored to be in a room with you brothers. It's a lot of power in here. My brother him 500. I don't really got nothing to add. Just
let me
I
ask
love
you,
y'all. I appreciate y'all.
We talked about 60% of America being obese, man. When it comes to mind and body, you're a person that you always talk about putting yourself through something hard every day, right? Can you talk about just that mindset piece of people that may want to get themselves together physically, but how do they get there mentally?
Absolutely. All right, so my brother Amir, we was having a conversation the other day, and he posed this question. He says, do you think society is backsliding, getting weak? We're not going to advance because we have so many, pieces of technology. We have so much comfort at our disposal. And I said, no, I don't think that, because the nature of man is to seek comfort. If it wasn't, we'd still be in trees and forests, right? So you will not have a situation to where humans are not going to try to make life easier. However, we know that with that, we will become weak. We will atrophy, muscles get weak, brain get weak, so on and so forth. We used to have to hunt for food. Now we have Uber Eats. You feel me? So knowing these things, we have to counterbalance all of the luxuries and the comforts. And look, we all do well for ourselves, but we also do things that are difficult every day. You know what I'm saying? For me personally, I have a routine, a morning routine. I go to bed early, I get up early, I'm praying, I'm meditating, I'm in the gym, sauna, all of that stuff before 8 a.m. You feel me? So it's in me, like I intentionally put myself through discomfort, right? I am comfortable being in discomfort. I wouldn't be comfortable if I didn't have discomfort. If things were too easy, I wouldn't like that. You know what I'm saying? So in 2018, I think, I'm looking around the landscape of my industry, and I just don't like my peers. I'm like, I don't like these people. I don't want to look like these people. I don't want to appear to be like these people. So what did I do? You know, a long time passion of mine, boxing. I've been boxing all my life, but I stopped early 20s. When I was about to turn 40, I went back to the sport. You feel me? Getting up out of my big, nice house to go run in the morning, to get in shape, to go fight people half my age. You feel me? I did that just to keep myself sharp, keep myself dangerous, because I don't want to become soft. You feel me? So I feel like we should, especially as men, we should always try to do difficult things, keep ourselves dangerous, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, fortify all of these resources so that we're that guy in our family. You feel me?
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local recordings are now.
For those who don't know, Mike Rashid, he is one of the top in the world when it comes to fitness, and he has one of the #1 health mineral, vitamin, supplement companies in the world, right? And this is something that he's built up. So this brother has a lot of knowledge. This is why I asked him, right? Because for me, I have peer tours. I don't have mentors. I have peers that I learn from. Each one teach one, right? So that's why I really respect the knowledge that my brothers have, because they built something and they do things that I can't do. And I was taught that that's the God protocol. We bow down to what each other have, right? So therefore, we can recognize each other rather than compete with each other. And for me, that's the art of collaboration. So, you know, that's a brother that, you know, I'm starting to get in shape. I'm on my Creed 4 right now. You know, I'm up there. I ain't did the photo shoot yet, but it's coming. You know, get the baby oil and everything. But I'm competing, you feel me? Because I see my brother, he get up there, he work out. So now when he get in the gym, I don't want to be hitting the baby weights and he over there hitting the Vin Rames. I'm on my baby boy, you feel me? So therefore, I made a new habit to go to the gym consistently every day. And that's really been helping me with everything else in life, right? Because that idea of putting yourself in discomfort on purpose, right? Like neuroscience says, if you wake up, you take a cold shower, we have a point in time where we're going to automatically have more stress throughout the day. But if you trigger that stress in the morning, right, then you're going through it on purpose, so therefore it doesn't trigger it for the rest of the day, right? So if you purposely take yourself through the stress, then you can control your reality, right? So I take that cold shower, and then I'm going to get up with the sun. So therefore it can program me as our sun gaze before the sun get up to a certain point in the sky, right? So for me, these are keys of living. Right, so it resets my circadian rhythm, so I'm not off balance with my body and my work schedule, right? So when we talk about mental health and physical health, these are things that the general consensus of people should know, but because, you know, the pharmaceutical companies and, you know, these food companies run the world, they don't want you to know actually how to live in tune with, you know, your human rhythm. Why? Because the sicker you are, the more they get paid, right? So if you teach black people health, you are robbing the consumer base. If you teach black people to be owners, you're robbing tenants from landlords that other cultures have when they come and take our money.
But
so when we talk about that 1.6 trillion spending power, they look at that as, these are my customers. Y'all can't be educating my customers away from me, right? Because we benefit off y'all ignorance. So this is the reason they don't like when we have forms of financial intelligence and we teaching people all these different aspects, because we robbing the fast food companies, we robbing big pharma, right? We robbing all of these people of their consumer base. But I don't mind doing that, right? Because they're taking advantage of our ignorance. So I want to enlighten us in these areas, and it changes our spending habits.
My brother, what we gotta do, and I always say this, is divorce ourselves from this culture here in America and create our own culture. because we have our own people teaching us how to eat. Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us how to eat to live. That's what I've been doing that forever. My father as well, right? So we don't take each other serious, and we should. What's more brilliant than a black mind? Look at our country. All right, so think about this. Black people, we make up something like 28% of the world's population, all right? They call you minority, but that's bullshit, that's cap. They're the minorities, you feel me? They're 9% of the population, we're 28%. So Pete, so you have black people in Africa, South America, India, here. But right here, look at all that we're doing. Look at the culture that we export to the world. Billions of dollars. Rappers are gods, you feel me? And it used to be like, that ain't gonna last. And it came out of a place of not having. We couldn't afford equipment, playing with mom's records, you know what I'm saying? Chanting in a park, till a multi-billion-dollar industry. And only rap music gave birth to like the big clothing brands associated with an artist or a person, you know what I'm saying? There's no rock and roll clothing brands, you feel me? But no knock to rock, but what I'm saying is not just entertainment. Look at sports, right? Sports, people look at that as like, oh, it's just athletic, whatever, but that's intelligence. That takes intellect to be able to manipulate your body through the physical universe like a LeBron James or Floyd Mayweather, you know what I'm saying? That's brilliant. That's brilliant brain activity. Science, your Neil deGrasse Tysons or whomever. So why don't we take ourselves serious? But we have to, you know what I'm saying? We have to listen to each other because we are so fucking brilliant, you know what I'm saying? And people have such, you know, they market like filth to us. They market trauma to us, like, you know, we're getting beat up by cops, shot by cops, whatever. Like, that's the reality of us. Nah, they be bowing down to us too. They don't show you that, you know what I'm saying? So we have to really reprogram ourselves. If you don't program yourself, they're gonna keep programming you.
That's a fact.
So we have to really reprogram ourselves. We have to really tap into ourselves spiritually, mentally, physically, all of these things. You know what I'm saying? Keith said something earlier. It's so profound, but it's so simple. Go outside for a mental health check. Take a walk in the park, on the beach, on the bridge, whatever. Just get outside, ride a bike. You feel me? So we really need to do these things. When we don't, when we're just inundated with the bullshit programming on our smartphones and TVs or whatever, you're gonna stay in a cloud of confusion, not loving yourself, not loving the people that look like you know what I'm saying? And we gotta really reprogram ourselves and change.
Yeah, we're gonna do the I'm outside challenge. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's the I'm outside. Like, go outside for real. And it's crazy we gotta make it a challenge, but you know, if you go put it on social media, you might actually be happy about doing it, right? So we're gonna start the I'm outside challenge, man. And especially take somebody from the hood outside. You feel me? That don't never go outside unless they doing the wrong activities. But like, and I mean outside in the nature. You feel me? I'm not just talking about on the block. You feel me? Like, find a park. Literally find a tree, find somewhere where your mind can flow and express itself, and it's not around man-made contraptions. But thank you. Give a round of applause to my brother, Mike Rashid. Did you have something to say, brother? I was going to let him 500 say a word or give a question to us. Or...
Not at all.
Oh, you chilling, man. You chilling.
I'm just here.
All right. I'm going to stand up. Mike Rashid sat down. How y'all doing tonight? I'm a student right here, right? I don't usually get the opportunity to ask a question, but you said it's either ask a question or give a word. I'm gonna ask y'all what y'all want me to do. Ask a question from my lens to the brother or share something. Bet. So
I don't know if y'all know who this brother is. He gets some good game.
So
y'all might have gypped yourself, but go ahead.
So
man.
the level of which we operate is that we're growing in business. One of the things I learned is that we've been idolizing the wrong people. And so what I ask is that a lot of times we don't respect lawyers. One of the best pieces.
Who?
Lawyers.
I hate lawyers.
Right? Boom. So, but as we grow and we start dealing with contracts, lawyers, attorneys, and people like that is the ones who negotiate a lot of people deals.
They're completely unnecessary and make language lengthy. So they make a reason to get paid. Lawyers fuck up the whole world. You're not gonna get up here and start fighting for lawyers, are you?
No. That's what I'm asking you.
Fuck lawyers.
That's
AI.
boom. Huh?
AI. Go to AI for lawyers now,
Okay.
and then give it to your lawyer. They get paid. I hate lawyers and I hate accountants.
Okay.
They fucked me over on everything I've ever done at a professional level. They create things to pay for, and that's time. So it's never advantageous for them to solve anything because that's when they stop getting paid. So lawyers and accountants have got me into every problem that I've gotten at a professional level. It's about knowing the law or knowing what you want your lawyer to write, telling them to do that shit quick, because they create beefs amongst each other. This unwritten law to waste as much time as possible. Because again, it's not advantageous for them to solve anything because that's when they stop getting paid. So it's about you to know the law, and usually the language they put law in is supposedly incomprehensible, so they're the only ones that can tell you what the shit means. But all that matters is what's actionable and what you can support. Law doesn't mean anything unless you have the tolerance to go to court for it, which means you have to pay a lawyer to actually fight. It's a pain in the ass. I hate lawyers.
Y'all learn something? But now, one of the things is that what you just said is that, then I was going to send that because I watch you and study you enough. How does a person, because Keys, you're one of the ones that break the language down, how does one break a contract down using AI? Because a lot of times now we think we need lawyers and things like that to come in place.
You just tell them what you want to accomplish.
Boom.
You know, I want that person to get what's fair for publishing. I want the proper split industry standard for this, that, or the third. It's just about wanting to know the truth based on behavioral pattern, right?
Okay.
So what's the average legality or what's the average contract for fashion or whatever the category is? What's the average contract for music when it comes to this? And then that's when you bring that to a lawyer and see what they say.
We in a space
AI
now,
to me is like a paralegal.
But what does it look like negotiating for equity at this point?
You make your own company. You asking for equity in something that somebody else does, it doesn't make sense to me. That's not my game. My game is I create something and I sell it. I hate this game of giving someone advice on how to make themselves hot and then having an expectation of like you should have ownership in their brand. You have to stand behind your own brand, put that in a product, and you have to sell it. And relationships don't mean anything if your product is whack. You have to have good product. This relationship thing for me has never worked. Relationships don't mean anything unless your product is good. So a relationship means that you're gonna like me even if my product is whack because I'm a nice guy. That's not, if your work is good, they stand online. And there's not a relationship because that's a con. Like, because I'm your friend, you're gonna sell my shit. I want you to sell my shit because it makes you money no matter whether you like me or not. And that's my approach. I'm not the fit-in approach. I'm not the nice guy approach. I'm the my work is so good that you have to buy it approach. That because it's based on things that are like, based on creativity and inspiration and not just because you're making it for money approach. Like, I'm not about the bread. I'm about the creativity and monetizing it in a fair way and knowing what's deserved. But